Talmadge, and I was the supervisor before Mr. Barrett. I'm here tonight basically with a complaint because in the last several weeks or months, that is, in the newspaper, there have been indications of the financial matters in town, and my name keeps coming up as if I am somehow responsible. I take issue with that, strong issue with that, because I feel like I have left everything for Mr. Barrett in good condition, and I resent the fact that he keeps trying to blame me for various things that may be going on. I am not completely aware of all the problems going on, but I fully believe they are not my responsibility, and therefore like I say, I object to the fact that my name gets dragged into financial problems with this particular administration. Now, in that regard, the first couple of comments in the paper didn't really specify anything. I said to myself, well, what is it that I was supposed to have done that was so wrong, other than the fact that I was able to handle QuickBooks and knew what was going on? The last meeting in July, he brought up 3 specific things, and I would like to comment on those. And in fact, one of them, I thought he was so wrong, I have indicated, I wrote a 2-page letter to him and supplied copies to the board about the bond interest reserve fund, because it was clear he did not know what he was talking about. I would like that letter put in the minutes for tonight's thing so it is part of the permanent record of the town. And if I can request it be included, that's fine, and you can do that. If not, I will read it so that it goes into the record, because I think it's important that this board and future boards know how the bond interest reserve fund actually works. Can I have that included in the minutes without reading it directly, Kathy?
Well, you can give it to me.
I have given it to all the board members, so I will make sure you have a copy of it.
I don't have a copy of it.
Okay, I will make sure you have a copy of it. And again, it is a 12-point history of what the bond interest reserve fund was all about and how we handled it and what Mr. Barrett's mistakes were when he talked about it last month. Particularly what he said was we were using the loan proceeds as to pay the interest, and that in fact was not the case. And if you go back and look at the history, you look at my letter, I explained what went on. So I won't go into that one in detail. There were 2 other minor points that he also brought up, trying to show that I didn't have the books right, and I'd like to comment on them briefly because neither of them are significant at all. One of them had to do with the insurance premiums that the retirees pay and send to the town, and he had gone to some trouble to introduce new revenue items in the chart of accounts in the general fund. What we had done at that point was we put the money that came in from the retirees in trust and agency, which is the fund that is to be used for holding money to pay various things. And in particular, the insurance premium, there are 3 components of it. They were the retirees, there's a component from the general fund, and a component from the highway fund. And all of those, during my administration, the monies was moved into trust and agency and was stored there, and the premiums were paid from there, and I think that was an appropriate way to do it. In accounting, you can do a number of different things. So Mr. Barrett's solution was to introduce these revenue items in the general fund and hopefully some corresponding expense items and put the money in the general fund. That, from an accounting standpoint, is a wash. It doesn't matter to the town. From a political standpoint, it's interesting. What he's done is raise the expenditures of the general fund needlessly and made himself look a little silly because this general fund would be higher than it has to do. You know how the citizens of Milan don't like to spend too much money, which I agree with. So his point was that, my point is that his accounting technique is fine. It didn't matter at all to the town, and there was simply no problem in what I had done before. The third one was a minor one also, and in fact, I think I'll give him credit. He did say something that I had done which I thought was a little awkward. Way back in 05 and 04, from time to time when the payroll would come in, instead of transferring the exact amount into trust and agency for the payroll, because I did not know it, I would put in money in trust and agency that would round up and there would be a little bit of excess. And therefore that money had to be transferred back to one of the other funds. All of that is fine and all of the accounting is fine, but his point that it's hard to follow is correct. Kathy Gom, the bookkeeper, eventually broke me of that habit. We didn't do it very long, and it should have no particular bearing on anything after my term, because whatever monies we had moved in, we had moved back. And I noticed from the financial report that I got from the June meeting that in trust and agency is $88,000, and there's absolutely no way that we would have left that kind of money in that kind of account. So whatever he's doing, it is not because of something we did back in '05 and '06. So apologize for having my attitude on tonight, but I'm annoyed that I keep getting blamed for things that I think are absolutely not my fault. And I wish this town board would understand that and at least make some mention that, you know, that we tried all the time to do the best we could and present and keep track of everything. And let me say, we had Dr. Campisi at every meeting getting up and challenging things, and I don't think he found anything, any significance over 4 years. There were obviously little things where we didn't get something straight here and there, but we were scrutinized, and I think we did a good job, and I stand by my record. Thank you.